One major reason for a civilian Project Blue Book is to provide for a way to detangle the UFO UAP issue from disinformation and deception of the Department of Defense, the intelligence services, their contractors, and their retirees. Disinformation, deception, and secrets are how these entities operate. Detangle from them and the answers will come. Here are a couple examples of this pervasive deception culture and then specific examples of this likely occurring in space alien stories. Midway Island during World War II was identified as the targeted location for a major Japanese attack through disinformation. Some of the Japanese JN-25 code had been broken by the Americans, and it was known an attack was planned, that the name used for the target by the Japanese was not known by the code breakers. It was suspected that it was Midway Island. So the Americans sent an unencrypted message over the airwaves that falsely stated that the desalination plant had broken down there and water was in short supply. The Japanese then sent an encrypted message stating the same using the name the Japanese used for Midway Island. This confirmed the suspected target was Midway Island. In the English-speaking world, we refer to armored tracked vehicles with cannons as tanks. Why? Because the British during World War II initially had used the cover story that these land battleships were water tanks. The deception has now entered our language as the name for the object. So at Roswell, was it an alien spacecraft, a weather balloon, or a classified project monitoring for Soviet nuclear tests? One method of helping to protect a computer network which uses the internet is to create some relatively easy to access fake files and then see if the hacker tries to access them. If someone does, the authorities can be contacted and the attack traced back to the hacker. The hacker can be dealt with before he proceeds further into the system or attacks another system. The data would be something which wouldn't be true, but exciting so that the hacker would likely start to spread the information which would help locate him and would likely be on the hacker's files providing evidence of the crime. The fact that the information taken isn't true is irrelevant to the crime. Trying to steal something which turns out to be a decoy is still a crime. Perhaps having an Excel spreadsheet with non-existent spaceships is a good bait. Planted disinformation provides a way to locate spies and test whether or not someone can be trusted with secrets. Someone who is being considered to work on a sensitive project might be tested to see how well they keep secrets. These people can be provided with disinformation to see if they leak it. Nothing is lost if they do, and the person may well come out being embarrassed as poetic justice for their actions. Of course, some people who feel their lives are miserable or powerless will try to inflict some misery or confusion on others by playing jokes on these people. If you don't feel important, make the others feel they are less important than you by telling them you have been let in on the alien secret. Bases on the dark side of the moon have been found. UFOs are airbrushed from the photographs before they are provided to the public. Since no one other than the key scientists and management needs to know the true nature of a classified project, technicians, machinists, and the such are often provided with a cover story. The person might well be helping to machine, assemble parts, and test components for an improved radar to try to defeat stealth technology, but since they're only working on a few pieces without understanding how they fit into the whole picture, they can be told the project involves reverse engineering and alien technology. A story like this may well be used as a method to indicate to the person to stop asking for any further information on a classified project. Keep asking questions and you will get more BS. However, some might not be able to read between the lines and take the story as truth. This is one of the reasons hearsay isn't admissible in court. The fact somebody can truthfully swear to hearing a statement made by someone else does not mean that they were told what was true. Someone else would have to testify. That someone else might say, I was just pulling their leg. Yes, they worked there and they know the layout of the place and carried out some tasks, but it can't be determined accurately how those tasks fit in with everything. In the atom bomb project at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a large number of people worked there, and probably less than 5% of those knew what the project was about. Those manning the control room of the centrifuges were given criteria to monitor and what to do in various circumstances. If things fell outside of those, they would alert a supervisor. They didn't know what they were managing. The supervisor did. The original Operation Blue Book was a creature of the Defense Department, as is the new Unidentified Aerial Task Force. Without a structure outside of the DoD, the intelligence services or contractors and retirees, for the public to know the truth would be extremely difficult. Unverifiable hearsay from a culture which internally and externally freely uses disinformation and deception isn't reliable. Oversight is conducted by a secret group of a few senators and congressmen in secure hearing rooms. A major stumbling block which might prevent arriving at the truth would be the consequences that a defense entity may have had previous knowledge of extraterrestrials. It has often been stated that making contact with extraterrestrials would be destabilizing to society, and that might be a reason for hiding that fact. But the realization by the public that the government had deceived them for years would be destabilizing to the government. While those in charge currently will blame deceased people and try to mitigate the outrage, the atmosphere would be similar to the management who takes over a company in which there had been a lot of malfeasance. There would be a lot of new restrictions and oversight mandated by the owners, stockholders, and board members. The trust factor would be gone. Citizens would wonder what else might the government be doing and what can be done to prevent these type of things in the future. Even with claims that it may have been done for good reason, the fact remains it had been able to be done. A civilian structure might provide a mechanism for disclosure without having to address that problematic history in the defense groups. It would be possible to expose the truth without having to deal with the consequences of the previous cover-ups or lies. Having another pathway to the truth in addition to trying to have the defense group release full verifiable information would be best. The Unidentified Aerial Task Force claims interest in less than 1% of the airspace. Who is handling the other 99%?